Hey guys, this is going to be a review of Reign Season 3, Episode 10, Bruises That Lie. This episode has a lot with like Mary and Gideon, and they're trying to trick Elizabeth into thinking that Gideon's succeeding for both of their benefits, which I think is great actually. I really like the fact that they decided to work together and like help each other in a way that's beneficial instead of being enemies. I thought that was really awesome and a nice kind of way to take the story. At the same time, it's kind of like they're so bad at acting, and considering Gideon has apparently tried to seduce Elizabeth in the past, and Mary's done her a fair amount of lying before, I'm not really sure why either one of them was so terrible at that. I feel like they should have been much better at pretending to like each other. Well, I don't know if I can say pretending, because obviously they really are developing feelings for each other. That's quite obvious after this episode, but still felt weird that they were so terribly awkward about it, and I would have thought they would have been able to do better than that. But speaking of them liking each other, they were actually really cute together in this episode, and I know I said a lot of stuff last time about not being sure how I would feel, because if Mary ended up with Gideon, then you never really know, like, is he good or bad? But at this point, I really do think he's good and not bad, which is strange because I expected him to be more ambivalent than that. There is still kind of this voice in my head that is like, well, he could be bad, but I don't know. So far, I actually think they're cute together, which I wasn't expecting because I loved Mary and Francis together so much, and it's so soon after Francis died, so I don't really know how I already think they're so cute together, but I really like them together so far, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Claude also gets married in this episode, which happened quicker than I expected it to. I just seem to be saying things like that a lot lately, I think. But, so she did wind up married. Then her marriage got annulled in the same episode, which I also was not expecting, because I figured that if, like, she got married, I didn't expect it to be over within the same episode, but I'm also kind of happy it was. And the whole thing with the guy, I was not surprised that Catherine had bribed him to be, like, a terrible person. And I think it was supposed to be like, well, he wasn't actually bad, like, Catherine bribed him, but at the same time, if he took money from Catherine and that was enough for him to, like, do all of the terrible stuff to Claude, then I would still consider him a terrible person. I don't know how I feel about that storyline, actually, because it's like, Narcisse didn't actually pick a terrible guy. Catherine bribed him, but then, like, her bribe of the guy showed the guy was terrible, I think. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Regardless, that is over already, and Claude's already no longer married. Leith has, like, vowed that he's going to become a man that she can marry, and I'm actually kind of happy now that I think about it that it went that way instead of her staying married, because that really would have been a repeat of Greer and Leith, kind of. A bit different, but not really, which is interesting because I did not think about that until right now, and I really should have. So I'm glad that they went like a different direction so it wasn't the same thing. And I also liked that Greer and Claude had their little moment about Claude and Leith, because that was cute. That was really adorable. I'm really glad, even though I still love Greer and Leith and would still love them together, I'm really glad that, like, Greer's on good terms with Leith and even with Claude, and everyone gets along, because that's really nice, and I really appreciate that. Speaking of Greer, she is giving her baby to her sister, which is interesting that we get to see her sister because we hadn't before, and I'm wondering how much her sister will be in the episodes in the future, if she's actually going to wind up taking the baby. I think there's going to be something with that in, like, the near future, like, as Greer is still pregnant. I think that there will be some sort of storyline revolving around like her giving the baby up. The pirate guy showed back up, which I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to actually see him again, but we did. And he did the whole thing about not forcing her to do anything, but like if she kept the baby, like he would help, which he wound up being a much more decent guy than I expected, because like the first time he like tricked Greer and everything, and then this, when he finds out she's pregnant, like he's really, really great about it. He's like, do what you think that you need to do, like if you think that you giving up the baby is what's best and everything, then do that, but if you keep the baby, then I'll help support you and the baby. Like, I was not expecting that from him, and it made me like him more, because I hated him the first time, and I mean, I'm not exactly fond of him yet, because like it was one thing and we still haven't seen that much of him, but like he now has potential to grow on me if he sticks around, which who knows. I don't know if I want a romance between him and Greer though, primarily because I really like independent Greer. Like, I've come to really appreciate independent Greer, and I still love Greer and Leith so much. It's hard because I really, really loved Greer and Leith together, and I'm still holding on to that and don't know if I can ever completely let go. But at the same time, I love Greer's like independence now, and I love Leith and Claude together now, and so I don't even know anymore with that. But I don't really want Greer with the pirate guy. Like, if she chooses to keep the baby and he's like in the show because of the baby, but I wasn't expecting him to be that decent, and I feel like something bad is going to happen with Greer's sister. Not like bad as in terrible, horrible thing where people end up hurt or something necessarily, but I think something's going to happen where Greer's sister isn't going to want to take the baby, and Greer's probably going to keep the baby. I feel like Greer's going to keep the baby. Between the baby's father, whose name I should really learn at some point in time, and what he said to Greer about keeping the baby, and then her sister being kind of hesitant about it, and her husband, I think her husband was hesitant too, I don't even remember, to be honest. Between both of those things, I think that Greer's going to wind up keeping it, because there were just too many hints in the last episode. I have to say is that Lola is in England, and I don't have much to say on that other than the fact that I was talking and thinking quite a bit about what would happen if everyone started to spread out to different places, and now Lola is in England, and she doesn't do much in England in this episode, but I'm excited to see if she does in the future, because I think there's so much potential there, having the cast in different places and stuff like that, and I'm really excited to see what happens while she's in England. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say. I feel like I'm either rambling about nothing or like not saying anything at all now. Like, I feel like I've hardly talked about anything in comparison to normal for these things, but I feel like what I have talked about, I've rambled and said really, really pointless things about it. I feel like I'm in a really strange mood. This is later than I typically film, and I feel like that's why. Like, I'm in a different sort of mood. I'm kind of tired and things like that. I will see you guys later. Bye.